Nobody should pull wool over the eyes of Nigerians. Ganging up to intimidate this and threaten the life of whistleblower is deplorable and undemocratic. What of the so-called constituency projects, which is a veritable source of corruption? These constituency projects are spread over the budget for members of the National Assembly, for which they are the initiator and the contractor, directly or by proxy, and money will be fully drawn, with the project only partially executed or not executed at all. The National Assembly cabal of today is worse than any cabal that anybody may find anywhere in our national governance system. Members of the National Assembly pay themselves allowances for staff and offices they do not have or maintain. Once you are a member, you are co-opted, and your mouth is stuffed with rottenness and corruption that you cannot opt out, as you go home with not less than 15 million naira a month for a senator and 10 million naira a month for a member of House of Representatives. The National Assembly is a den of corruption by a gang of unarmed robbers.
Then why are you coming here that you are aware that you were a member of the NDDC and lots of contracts were awarded to you? You said I'm not aware. I'm telling you that bring up those dates.
May I inform my honorable sister that is why we have to change.
Honorable Minister, please. It's okay. That is okay. That is okay.
But let me explain.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Let me explain.
It's okay.
Now.
It's okay.
You must not allow the two chambers
it's
to
okay.
handle the budget every
It's
day.
okay. Off your mic. It's okay.
Off
your mic, Honorable Minister.
You are like me. I was a member like you. I did not know what was going on.
Honorable Minister.
Yes,
it's
Mr.
okay.
Chairman, yes, Chairman.
It's okay. You guys sit down. Sit down. Sit down. It's okay.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live. State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
I'm trying to read your messages, but I'm struggling. I also know you are struggling to come online. It's not opening. I'm struggling here. I want to read your messages. I'll keep trying. Look at this. Gain fresh perspective by listening to this transformative lecture. And the attention is on young persons. You know, last week I talked about Beulah Adeoye. I played about 10 minutes of his lecture at the University of Ibadan. It was a lecture organized by the Student Union of the University of Ibadan on Thursday, 7th of March. It was a thought-provoking lecture, and the title of the lecture is Exploring Personal Growth Outside the Classroom, the Strategies of an Accomplished Individual. In a world brimming with opportunities and challenges, the pursuit of personal growth extends far beyond the confines of textbooks and lecture halls. So take note of that. The pursuit of personal growth extends far beyond the confines of textbooks and classrooms. It is about embracing experiences navigating setbacks, and harnessing the power within to emerge stronger and wiser. While I was lecturing at the university, I usually gave my best students a book entitled Mind is the Master. I know they will appreciate it in the future. Why I gave them that book, I did not explain. But I was telling them that personal growth extends far beyond the confines of textbooks and classrooms. They needed to own their minds. I'm talking about the lecture that was delivered by Biola Adeoye. I moderated the discussion of the paper, so I was there. The event was an opportunity to traverse the dynamic world of personal growth with Biola Adeoye, the keynote speaker. From the lecture, you would agree with me that the young man is a beacon of inspiration and accomplishment. Biola, a distinguished lawyer and chartered accountant, brings over a decade of enriching experience in professional risk management, compliance, and forensic investigation services. What sets him apart is his remarkable track record in fostering business integrity, ethics, and compliance. From conducting forensic investigations to anti-bribery and corruption reviews, his expertise spans a spectrum of crucial domains, including financial due diligence, anti-money laundering reviews, and conflict of interest advisory. If you investigated well, you will find bright, intelligent Nigerians in some of the best sectors of the world. And you are imagining, why are they not in leadership? They are everywhere in the world. In great institutions, you find Nigerians. And we are having the worst of us governing us. There's something wrong with us. No, we have made politics the exclusive right of gangsters. Yes, there are some decent politicians, no doubt. There are some decent governors, no doubt. But the system is dominated by gangsters. The bright ones are consulting for America, consulting for France, consulting for China. And when they consult for our leadership here, they don't implement their ideas. Gangsters will not implement ideas that will give opportunities to bright stars. They won't. They would rather have gangsters around them. And when they bring in one or two bright brains, they frustrate them. Yes. Currently serving as the West Africa head of forensic at Deloitte, Biola Adeoye's insight into personal growth and professional excellence are invaluable. His journey from the halls of the University of Ibadan, where he graduated with first-class honors in law, to his current position exemplifies the power of perseverance, dedication, and continuous self-improvement. You know, some of us, we don't improve ourselves. We are just the same. You add no knowledge to yourself. Oh, I have graduated 20 years ago. What have you added to yourself since that time? How have you improved your knowledge? How many books have you read? How many trainings have you gone for? Your brain is stagnant, full of old ideas. Graduate. Next thing, say, do you know I'm a graduate? And so what? How far now? Graduate. Now, graduate to one chop. What have you done? What new ideas have you brought to the system? How have you helped improve the system? Your graduation is waste to the nation if you are not adding value to the state. It's everybody's running to the university. We are producing professors, no ideas. We need to look into the system of ideas. Edmond Obilo, speak to yourself too. Yes. I'm talking about Biola Adeoye. His story is not just about accolades. It's about resilience, determination, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. I'm looking for people to celebrate, young people. If you make all A's in your WAEC, call on me. I want to celebrate you. I'm also not saying it's just about A's. If you are a welder and you have designed this beautiful wedding structure, something innovative. If you're an artist, are you a photographer? You're doing something exemplary. Call me. I want to see it. I want to celebrate you. Are you a programmer? Are you a coder? Are you an app designer? Tell me, show me that app, the effective app you have designed. I want to celebrate you. Are you a great teacher? So it's not about A's alone or first class. In anything you do, if you are making a difference, let me know. I want to celebrate you. You are a star. Biola Adeoye is a star. He shines. Biola Adeoye on State Affairs.
The big things start with small little steps, completed. A journey of 1,000 miles, they say, starts with a step. There are other strategies that you might utilize, and let me tell you, I'll elaborate a little bit. Number one, understand that your formal education and career are two separate and distinct things. For your career, you must choose something that meets the need the world needs desperately, but which is in short supply. So for me, I studied law in the University of Ibadan, and I was subsequently called to the university. However, I had my career in professional service, specifically forensic. When I was at the beginning of my career, there were few of us, if any, forensic professionals in Nigeria. The fear of charge and bail was the beginning of wisdom for me. Charge and bail is a situation where lawyers did not have briefs, but they hassled litigants at courthouses. They loitered to solicit for engagements, to charge people to court, or on their behalf, or bail their friends and relatives who were detained. There were too many lawyers, such that there was a backlog of law graduates who had not been admitted into the law school when I graduated. I therefore went into professional services and got opportunities for speedy progression. A few short years later, I was a director. A few short years later, I was a partner. That indicated for me that the market for law graduates was saturated. Today, there is a short supply of professionals in artificial intelligence. How many of us know about artificial intelligence? Okay. There's a short supply of people in information systems. And we're in an information age. There's a short supply of people in coding. And hopefully my dear brother Ojenike will talk about what he's doing with children coding. People less than 7, 6, 8 years coding. The projects have been going on for the Destiny Trust. I hope we'll speak about that today. There's a short supply in robotics. The world needs this, and they are paying premium all over the world, no matter where you sit, to get opportunities there. So you must set yourself apart from the pack. Sometimes when they give us, when we advertise a job, many times you'd have thousands, tens of thousands of people applying for one role, just one role. So begin today. That will be my challenge to you on that point. Set yourself apart, begin today. I was a member of several organizations and societies where I grew into leadership. For instance, I was a member of ISEC, Anonsa, the Law Student Society, Bowels of Mercy, Royal Ambassadors, Baptist Student Fellowship. Now, I was not wasting my time. Each taught me a different lesson, exposed me to different people, brought different powers and privileges, showed me a different angle of service without tangible reward, provided me a new skill, and presented me different opportunities, which I did with excellence. At Anonsa, I rose to be president, and I recall, still with deep appreciation, the yeoman's job that Mr. Abimbola Ojenike seated here, and Niro Akitude did at the venue of the election. Even within the Students' Union SRC chambers before elections, on the day of elections, my chief campaign officer, whom I will not mention, had absented himself for reasons yet unknown till today. But let me not digress into politics and the betrayals and pains you will face on your journey. But believe me, there will be plenty of it at every new turn. This meant that my CV was full of different accomplishments. By the time I graduated, and before any formal work, no one brought those to me. I sought them out and pursued them. As part of my campaign manifesto for Anonsa, for instance, I promised to take Anonsa on an international excursion, as at this time it had not happened in the last 10 years. Against all odds, I accomplished this and took 53 members and friends of Anonsa on an international excursion in UI. I recall with deep gratitude still the efforts of, and I must mention two of them particularly, Anonsite Patience Ayansonye and Samuel Otoyo, who later became president, who discovered, some plans to scuttle the initiatives and believing that the benefits to the greater university community and student body was superior to political clannishness, clingings, and leanings. They worked with me tirelessly to realize all the electoral promises we delivered, and we delivered on all the promises we made and more. My philosophy has always been that a man is only as good as he keeps his word. Junior Chambers International, in recognition of this, awarded me the 5 Outstanding Personalities Award, FOPA. There were other awards and certificates of excellence. I owe it to the people who made it happen. In fact, in spite of the fact that those accolades were attached to my name, I'm a mere placeholder for them. ISEC also granted me an opportunity for a developmental traineeship in Russia. So I'm telling you what the opportunities in the University of Ibadan did to prepare me for the world. Anonsa gave me a leadership opportunity, first supporting the president, later getting into the EXCO, becoming the president, making promises, keeping them. ISEC had what they call the developmental traineeship. There were a few other traineeships for ISEC. And then they granted me an opportunity in Russia, Novosibirsk. We were arguing whether I should go to Russia or not. Some people counseled against it. Then a friend of mine who I had met through the Institute of Chartered Accountants training program, ICANN, Mr. Adeshola Ogundiro, who is here today, presented my CV to Mr. Kunle Elebute, the financial advisory leader at KPMG, who later became KPMG Africa leader. And I just gained my first internship, and then after my internship, NYSC, and then my first job, for which I am eternally grateful. Thank you, sir. This singular opportunity brought so many more opportunities. The opportunity I got through someone I'd met in UI, studying together on the ICANN program, and later who pointed me in the direction of a job. For instance, whilst I was leaving the firm, another friend introduced me to a certain young lady who had just returned to Nigeria. She had studied in England, made a first class in economics, from the University of Manchester, did a master's at Warwick, did some stints with McKinsey and Company, then came to Nigeria. She believed in the Nigerian dream. And she wanted to discuss work culture of the firm I was working with because she had an interview coming up in the next week. I was informed, and then, we met in the church after. Unfortunately, I told her that I was traveling the same day, but I was open for a phone call. At that time, I was seconded to Shell, and I was working in Port Harcourt. But we held a phone call, and then another phone call, and then another phone call. It wasn't me. She told me that I was addictive. I was super addictive. Somehow, her name has changed to Ifeoma Adeoye. And after 10 years and 2 lovely daughters later, we're still speaking. Yeah, so that's my wife, Ifeoma Adeoye. Now, the opportunity led to work opportunity, led to me meeting the person that is currently my wife. Now, the third thing I'll mention, and then I'll quickly run to a close, is you need to engage with leadership. I choose that word specifically, with. Engage with leadership. I was involved with leaders voluntarily at every level, and many times I rose into leadership myself. Many times they invited me as I was achieving more for them than those whose job it was to work for them, without being visible. Many times canvassing for them as a follower and solving their biggest problems. I would usually go to leaders and say, which one is your biggest problem? Which one is your biggest headache? And then I make it my own headache. Many times, solving their problems as a follower in ways they will never know. This anonymous support always helped me to understand both followers and leadership motivations, see through clear eyes, listen to what people expected and did not expect, and also assist the leaders to be successful at my own cost. It has thus become my lifelong internship in followership, and that has mostly prepared me. These were practical sessions for me in the leadership roles I subsequently assumed.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Yes, that is Beulah Adeoye giving a personality lecture to the University of Ibadan. The title of the lecture, Exploring Personal Growth Outside the Classroom, the Strategies of an Accomplished Individual. The program is State Affairs. In that engaging lecture, Beulah unraveled the strategies and mindset that have propelled him to success, offering invaluable lessons that transcend the traditional boundaries of academia. From seizing opportunities to overcoming obstacles, Beulah Adeoye shared practical wisdom and actionable advice to help young persons chart their own path towards personal and professional fulfillment. That is the lecture. It's about the mind. It's about power. Also, we've not taken a call. Are the phones still working? All right, let's hear a voice from home. 070-69493000. That's the number to call. 75770. That's another number to call. The first number is 070-694-93000. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Edwin.
Is that Abdusalam from Coca-Cola?
Yeah, you are right.
Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, on the issue of National Assembly, concerning the padding situation, I think this is not the first time. But what matters most is for a people to, for we as a people and as a nation, to try to have a paradigm shift from bad behavior to good behavior. But you can see that from the response of some people or submission or argument that is this the first time? Has it not happened when the PDP was here? Once you have to be progressing in life, if indeed you want to make you want to be up there and you want to make life abundance, you want to sanitize the situation. But instead, some people will be coming up that these two people themselves, they do the same thing now. Are we to be doing bad, continue to be doing bad things? Or to move away from bad things, to be doing good things? That's the problem.
All right.
You see, I want this, I will be very happy if Mr. President should call for investigation about this thing, and they should put Ningi in the box to defend his allegation.
What investigation are you calling for? Hello?
They will make amendment when and where
Hello?
necessary.
Hello, Mr. Abdul Salam.
Hello?
Hello? Can you
Hello,
hear
I'm
me?
listening.
What investigation are you calling for? It's a collaboration between the executive and the legislature. Tinubu has come out to tell you there's no party, and you are saying you should investigate.
You know what? Maybe they should throw it open for Nigerians so that some of us that always, many of us that always make our submission or base our argument on political affiliation, tribal, and religious sentiment, we desist from doing so. It is we Nigerians, we voters, we followers that are doing our thing.
All right, Mr. Abdul Salam, I have to let you go now.
But it is we followers that didn't know what we are doing because we have been blindfolded.
All right, thank you. Thank you. He's also waiting for that same government to investigate itself. That is what Abdul Salam is saying. That the government should investigate itself. Is that possible? Okay. Let's reflect. I've been talking about poetry. I want you to listen to this poem. A poem from the heart of a young woman projected into the future. She is Jacinta Nwachukwu. Let's hear your poem.
A land exists in time, playground of elites and geniuses, dotted with hidden mysteries in shelf, lying on every side of the walls, arranged like a long train crossing the Pacific Ocean, and ready to be consumed by human intellect. The elites and geniuses' right not to be stalked, but to be consumed. How can I be heard when I cannot make a noise? Níbo ni sọ̀rọ̀ sókè wà? How can I be made known when face is masked? My golden pen was laid to rest when readers turned away. To them, reading is junk, never a fun. How can I labor in vain when effort in pain disdain? My head, full of pregnancy all aborted, I laid to rest. The thoughts I conceived were born to born. The world turned and left in twilight. The expression of our thoughts was not to be sold in exchange, but was a template for passion revelation. The burning zeal made visible, so motivating and educational. Despite the wavering and dusty memories of their repository, the zeal keeps reigniting in every new page and stanza. We were left aside. We hung our pen. Many reports of deeds, many accounts of disdain, many stories to write. When we get to where we will be honored, I moved down to the eastern Nigeria, a land of rising sun. I see them idolizing money and forgetting about the shelf. I go far to the northern Nigeria. I hear the cracking of guns and the sounds of engines, just to waste a nation. What about the shelf? They all forgot about it. And I come swiftly to the western Nigeria, a wasteland of merrymakers, sitting in their comfort waiting for Owambe. Ejeka dide gbogbo Africa. Be near Africa. Stand up, Africa. And let us go back to that beginning, when these elites and geniuses never needed money to be their motivation, to galvanize, to motivate, to direct, and to inspire the human race.
That is Jacinta Nwachukwu, a 200-level student of mass communication, Dominican University. When you say the shelf, what do you mean by the shelf?
Books, library.
Books, library. What is this poem about?
Okay, this poem is a scenario of Nigerians dying or living in silence, suffering in silence. It's about people forgetting about the book, forgetting about acquiring knowledge, and then thinking that they can be everything in life without knowledge. Some people, if you read through the second stanza of my poem, you hear the poetic voice saying, "How can I be heard when I cannot make a noise? Níbo ni sọ̀rọ̀ sókè wà?" Some people really want to talk, they want to speak, they want to write. But then, when you remember the EndSARS protest and how people had to sọ̀rọ̀ sókè and their blood became pens for the Lekki toll gate, I'm sure someone else will not want to say anything. People have a lot of things to say, but they are just very afraid to talk about it because they think that when they open up, when they speak up, they'll be killed or they'll be, I don't know, different things.
You said, and ready to be consumed by human intellect. The elites and geniuses write not to be stalked, but to be consumed. How can I be heard when I cannot make a noise? The elites and geniuses write not to be stalked. Can you explain that?
Okay. As an elite, we write not for you to come after us, not to leave our work unread. We are writing that you consume what we have written. When I was reading through the book, Understanding the Dynamics of the History and Development of the Nigerian Mass Media by Kenneth Adibe-Nwafor, I saw in page 122 that Pastor James Emmanuel Agre, the late Ghanaian Africanist pastor and educationist, was preaching, and in sermon he said, "If I, one of you, could go to the new world and make a man of myself, you can too." And that someone touched Nnamdi Azikiwe, and he said, in Nnamdi Azikiwe's word, he said, that was when the scale fell from my eyes and I began to see a glorious future. And I'm a writer, and I don't know who is reading my poem or who is listening to me now. But one thing I'm sure of is that if you should go into reflection with this poem, with what I'm saying and with what I'm writing, it can touch at least different lives and will begin to make a difference. There are some people who have a lot of things to say, who have a lot of wisdom, but then, apart from the fact that they are very afraid, they are like, they don't know who is going to listen to them or who is even going to want to hear their voice or the right channels they are going to use in publishing whatever they've written. So I believe that if people should hear this poem of mine, I know it will have a lot of changes in their lives, just like Nnamdi Azikiwe's life. Yeah.
You were also speaking to writers to write for redemption, not just for our words.
Yes.
You said that in this poem.
Yes.
Is that what is obtainable now?
Yes. Knowing that we have writers, some writers that have left their print in the sands of time, people like Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, amongst others. But nowadays, we don't have good writers. We need people who can write the truth, speak truth, and act truth.
Speak truth and act truth.
Yes.
So you are a budding writer. You continue to write poems.
Yes, sir.
You give us poetries that will shake society to goodness, right?
Yes, sir.
Perhaps someday you will meet Professor Nii Oshudare. Will you want to meet him?
Yes, sir.
He's a great poet. So I'm giving you his book, Snap Songs, by Nii Oshudare. This will help you improve your poetry.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for featuring on State Affairs.
Thank you, sir.
High school work. Are you enjoying school?
Yes, I'm enjoying it.
Are you reading?
Yes, sir.
So don't stop reading.
Yeah.
I like how that chapter, the page you quoted from the book. I remember the first time I read this book and saw that part of the book, I was inspired. You spotted it too. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Jacinta Nwachukwu, 200 level student of Dominican University, on State Affairs. Stay with us, don't go away.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Splash FM 105.5.
Hello, mommy. Ṣé dáadáa lẹ wà? Mo fẹ́ fún dábàá yẹn lówó yín kó bá yín kó wá sábúlé ni o.
Má ṣe ìyọnu ọmọ mi. Fi ránṣẹ́ sákàǹtì Smart Cash mi.
Mọ́mì, ẹ̀yin náà mọ̀ ń pa Smart Cash.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, wọ́n máa ń fún mi lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀bùn ọ̀fẹ́. Fi ránṣẹ́ sí nọ́mbà Airtel mi.
Ó dá o, màámi tó já.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, ó yá tẹ star 939# tàbí kó o download ohun èlò Smart Cash láti ṣí àkáǹtì rẹ. Kí ìwọ náà lè jẹ gbádùn àǹfààní ńlá 20,000 naira lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lórí Smart Cash. O máa ná nínú ìfà 20,000 naira rẹ nígbàkúùgbà tó o bá ra àkókò afẹ́fẹ́ tàbí tó o bá ṣe ìsanwó pẹ̀lú Smart Cash. O tún máa jẹ̀gbádùn gbígbé owó lọ sí báǹkì èyíkéyìí ní Nàìjíríà lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́. Ìlànà àti òfin wà.
Hello, ó ti wọlé o.
Smart Cash, Airtel ló ṣe agbátẹrù rẹ̀.
Splash FM 105.5.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Yes, Tunde Olawuwo is on State Affairs, the Splash FM news editor, general manager. Tunde, I saw you everywhere yesterday covering the demise of the Olubadan. Can you let us into what happened yesterday?
Well, I think it's for us here. It started on Thursday, when we got to know that the monarch, the first-class monarch, had passed. The first thing as a news person you want to establish is if the information is true. So once we were able to get that right, we had to break the story, and I began to make arrangement for the coverage. So because of the uniqueness of the Ibadan system, naturally in some other climes, it would have just been that you head straight to the palace. But in this instance, the palace was his house in Alariri. And that was the first place we got to yesterday around 6:30. in the morning. When we got there, of course, it became obvious that nothing was going to happen. We met one of his queens, and I also discussed with his PA, who told us that we should head straight to the Aliwo compound, the family compound of the late Oba Dr. Mahood Olalekan Balogun, the 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan land. So when we got there, as you would expect, people were mourning. A lot of them were in shock. They were not sure. We're the first media house to be on ground. So I think it began to hit home at that point in time, because we're going to start our major programs of the day at the place. And one after the other, people came calling. At that moment, his body was still at the UCH where he passed. But we had to wait because they told us that the rite was going to begin around 12:30 when they will do some prayers at Makbo.
Okay.
At that moment, we also understood that there was a meeting going on at the residence of the Balogun of Ibadan land, who is now the Olubadan designate. So we covered the prayers. His body was brought in after Jumat around past 3. The deputy governor, Barrister Bayo Lawal, led the state government contingent. He represented the governor. And
the governor is not around?
The governor was not around.
Okay. It's not in the country?
I believe so.
Okay.
It's not in the country. So, but the interesting thing is that while we were waiting remember I told you that as early as 8 were at Aliwo, because initially we had gone to Alare. We figured that, okay, what was it that we were going to be doing? We then took a short trip to the compound, the family compound of the Balogun of Ibadan land.
Okay.
The place is called Ogboriefon compound in Itabale. You know, Ibadan people, they are called Agbotikuyo. You know, one who rejoices at the announcement of death.
Okay.
For a reason, because as a family was mourning, we also had another family that was rejoicing. We had drummers already on ground playing, you know, happy that for the first time they were going to have the Olubadan in their family. If you know the story, they had been close twice. You know, they had people who were close, maybe some, 2 steps, 1 step, even one was a step, just about 3 months away. He didn't get it, so they were obviously happy. And it's just interesting how the system works here.
So the Olubadan was buried around 4 p.m.
Yes, exactly. Was buried. I mean, his body was was committed to the Mother Earth around 4 or 5.
In the family compound.
In the family compound. The interesting thing is that the Aliwo compound, you must give it to them. They are very organized. They have a place for their chiefs, because we saw, remember that this particular king was the second to have come from their compound. There was the first one, Memudu Aliwo, whose reign only lasted 3 months plus. So we saw his resting place there. We also saw the ones for some of their ancestors who got to the point of high chiefs. So they had a special place for them in that compound.
Is Ibadan mourning or Ibadan celebrating?
I think it's both ways.
Ibadan is mourning and celebrating.
Because these are people who are advanced in age.
Yeah.
So I don't think it will come as a shock to a lot of people. I mean, when you are in your 80s in a country like Nigeria,
you have tried.
You have tried. So it is not something unexpected. But then again, they will mourn because he was a charismatic king. He was well loved. Also, it was not bedridden. I mean, it was not. At 80 plus, you'll naturally be dealing with 1 or 2 ailments, but it was not as if he's been sick. So a lot of people, they were shocked people were still telling us how on Monday and even Tuesday he was still conducting his business. In fact, they had a Mogaji removed on Monday.
Okay.
And he presided over the meeting. So it's both ways, but of course, a lot of people are celebrating.
And now the Olubadan designate is 84, right?
Yes, it is 84. Oba Owolabi Olakuleyin, the Balogun of Ibadan land. It will be the 43rd Olubadan of Ibadan land.
The High Chief had a meeting in his compound yesterday.
It is convention.
Okay.
Sort of pledging your allegiance to him.
And Ladoja was there.
Of course.
Is your two Olubadan of Ibadan land?
Yes, and all things being equal. After this, it's him.
The Ibadan system is so unique. There's no argument. You know the next Olubadan.
Yes. You know. I mean, when there's one Olubadan, you know the next. All things being equal. All things being equal, being that, okay, the person is alive, because it is, turn by turn based on the two lines, the Balogun line and the Otun line.
Chief Akonde must be mourning too. How is he?
Well, he's in a state of mourning. But you see, people like them, they mourn differently. They don't mourn like us. I think they mourn with some level of understanding and maturity. They've seen this too many times, so they understand the stakes. But clearly, is in a state of mourning. We have also communicated with him.
So, what is Splash FM doing after now?
Well, we in the process of having an exclusive with the next Olubadan. That is hopefully what we intend to be able to do this morning. So we'll tell our listeners to stay tuned and watch out for the first exclusive interview with the Olubadan designate.
He's an old soldier, right?
He is an old soldier. He's a politician. He's a statesman. He's a chief. He's strong and healthy. And he's a highly principled person. I've met him a few times, so I know this. He's the Balogun line is the military line. So I think it's fitting that somebody like that is leading the line and is set to become the Olubadan.
So stay tuned to Splash to get the best coverage of what is going on in Ibadan. So Tunde Olaowo will be watching, will be listening. Continue with your coverage. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Edmond.
That is Tunde Olaowo telling us the story of the demise of the Olubadan. And Splash FM will be broadcasting an exclusive interview with the Olubadan designate. So don't miss that interview. The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Splash FM 105.5.
Every morning, na better chance to carry your hustle go higher level. So, make you start your day with the correct taste of Nescafe. Start strong, finish strong. Nescafe. Báwo ni ọ̀rẹ́ mi? Ǹjẹ́ o ní ohun kan tàbí òmíì tó ń pa ọ́ láyà lórí ìjákulẹ̀ tàbí ìyàsọ́tọ̀? Àbí o ti ní ìrírí ìdẹ́yẹsí rí? Ǹjẹ́ o nílò àmọ̀ràn kan tàbí òmíì láì ṣe pé ẹnìkan dá ọ lẹ́jọ́?
Interest of the progressives.
Thank you very much. Let me say this of Bola Ige. Bola Ige was a student of Obafemi Awolowo. Obafemi Awolowo was a role model of Bola Ige to the point that they both belong to the religion of the ancient days called Rosicrucian order.
So he was a member of the Rosicrucian order.
Both men were members of the Rosicrucian order. Obafemi Awolowo left it in his will that the Rosicrucian order must attend his burial, and they gave him a role. So Bola Ige was a student of Obafemi Awolowo. What Awolowo did in politics, little wonder he read law. Whatever Awolowo did in social development, Bola Ige followed the path. So, like Awolowo founded Africa's first television station, WNTV, WNBS, Bola Ige founded TSOS.
You just raised the point. I will come back to TSOS. But you just raised the point, the Rosicrucian order.
Yes.
Some have denied that he was not a member.
Who? Who was not?
That Bola Ige was not a member.
He was. My name is Lekon Alabi. He was. Obafemi Awolowo was.
Now, you are confirming this. I want to read from in Bode Showande's 2003 tribute entitled The Rose and the Cross. He describes Bola Ige. I'm confirming what you're saying. That soon, our conversation drifted to spiritual issues and finally zeroed in on the Rosicrucian order. We were both freighters of the Rosicrucians, and I knew that a few weeks back he had made a very handsome financial donation to the order in Ibadan. Of particular interest to him was the Christian Kabbalah, a practice I lived by, and I invited him to visit the Atrium group that I was currently leading in Ibadan. Little did I know that this would be our final conversation together. So you are confirming, like Bode Showande confirmed here, that he was a member of the Rosicrucian order.
With all modesty at my command, with all modesty, those who were really close to Chief Bola Ige will tell you that àwọn ọmọ nǹkan tí Lékan Àlàbí gbéjẹ fún Uncle Bola o, because he transcended being a press secretary, being a mentee. Uncle Bola tried all his best to draft me into politics. I'm not being modest. For those who know, so I will cite Dr. Yomi Farombi in this instance.
Okay.
People were wondering, Lékan, ṣé Ìjẹ̀ṣà ni màmá ẹ ni? Kí ló dé? Kan tó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ, àbí nǹkan tó máa progress. Uncle Bola will say, Lékan Àlàbí must be invited. Lékan Àlàbí must be Abba. Because till we are doing this interview today, I don't know. Bí Yorùbá ṣe máa ń wí, I don't know nǹkan tí mo gbé jẹ fún Uncle Bola o. He loved me. He was ready to show me the way to greatness, particularly in politics. So, anything that I say about Chief Bola Ige, please, the whole world that you are listening to me now, please take it as the truth.
Awolowo was a member of the Rosicrucian order.
Awolowo was a member of the Rosicrucian order, yes.
And Bola Ige was a member.
But Chief Bola Ige was.
And you said Bola Ige was a student of Awolowo.
Bola Ige was a student of Obafemi Awolowo.
What is the uniqueness? How would you place both men?
Thank you. So I will now use a word of Professor Wole Soyinka, a bosom friend of Chief Bola Ige, at the what do they call it now? The public service we did for Chief Bola Ige at Liberty Stadium, January 1984. I was the chairman of the subcommittee, protocol and publicity subcommittee of the larger body that took care of the funeral of Chief Bola Ige. So Professor Wole Soyinka spoke in his tribute. He spoke at Liberty Stadium, now called Obafemi Awolowo Stadium. And Professor Soyinka broke the ice that day when he started by saying, the killers of Bola Ige are here with us.
That was in January 2002.
Yeah, thank you. 2002. Yes. The stadium fell silent.
The killers were there.
He said, the killers of Bola Ige are here with us.
And you believed him?
A professor. Not only a professor, Africa's first Nobel laureate. He will never lie.
We will come to that.
So I want to use the word he now used. He said Bola Ige was economical.
Meaning?
Meaning what it means.
No.
Spiritual.
Yes.
Like him.
He was a deep thinker, right?
Like him.
Like him.
Like Soyinka, his friend. Like Obafemi Awolowo, their leader, our father.
So are you saying Soyinka is a member of the Rosicrucian order too?
No. I said ecumenical was a word.
Spiritual.
that Soyinka used for his friend.
But to be a member of the Rosicrucian order is not negative, right?
I wouldn't know. Because by the time Rosicrucian order was reigning all over the world and Nigeria, everything I knew about Rosicrucian order was in the form magazines, their advertisement. It was regular.
It's not secret.
No. I don't think it's a secret body because they advertised in popular weeklies and magazines in all over the world.
It's not a secret court.
And I will read it. The thing I find funny or find sacrosanct till today is that we are in tandem with the ancient religion. That's the furthest I can go about Rosicrucian order. I'm not a member. I was never a member. But I love their theme that they were in tandem with the old ancient religion.
At TSOS, would you agree that that was Bola Ige's construction of ideal media in the interest of the progressives?
Thank you very much. Let me say this of Bola Ige. Bola Ige was a student of Obafemi Awolowo. Obafemi Awolowo was a role model of Bola Ige to the point that they both belong to the religion of the ancient days called Rosicrucian order.
So he was a member of the Rosicrucian order.
Both men were members of the Rosicrucian order. Obafemi Awolowo left it in his will that the Rosicrucian order must attend his burial. And they gave him a role. So Bola Ige was a student of Obafemi Awolowo. What Awolowo did in politics, little wonder he read law. Whatever Awolowo did in social development, Bola Ige followed the path. So, like Awolowo founded Africa's first television station, WNTV, WNBS, Bola Ige founded TSOS.
You just raised the point. I will come back to TSOS. But you just raised the point, the Rosicrucian order.
Yes.
Some have denied that he was not a member.
Who? Who was not?
That Bola Ige was not a member.
He was. My name is Lekon Alabi. He was. Obafemi Awolowo was.
Now, you are confirming this. I want to read from in Bode Showande's 2003 tribute entitled The Rose and the Cross. He describes Bola Ige. I'm confirming what you're saying. That soon, our conversation drifted to spiritual issues and finally zeroed in on the Rosicrucian order. We were both freighters of the Rosicrucians, and I knew that a few weeks back he had made a very handsome financial donation to the order in Ibadan. Of particular interest to him was the Christian Kabbalah, a practice I lived by, and I invited him to visit the Atrium group that I was currently leading in Ibadan. Little did I know that this would be our final conversation together. So you are confirming, like Bode Showande confirmed here, that he was a member of the Rosicrucian order.
With all modesty at my command, with all modesty, those who were really close to Chief Bola Ige will tell you that àwọn ọmọ nǹkan tí Lékan Àlàbí gbéjẹ fún Uncle Bola o, because he transcended being a press secretary, being a mentee. Uncle Bola tried all his best to draft me into politics. I'm not being modest. For those who know, so I will cite Dr. Yomi Farombi.
These constituency projects are spread over the budget for members of the National Assembly, for which they are the initiator and the contractor, directly or by proxy, and money will be fully drawn, with the project only partially executed or not executed at all. The National Assembly cabal of today is worse than any cabal that anybody may find anywhere in our national governance system. Members of the National Assembly pay themselves allowances for staff and offices they do not have or maintain. Once you are a member, you are co-opted, and your mouth is stuffed with rottenness and corruption that you cannot opt out, as you go home with not less than 15 million naira a month for a senator and 10 million naira a month for a member of House of Representatives. The National Assembly is a den of corruption by a gang of unarmed robbers.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Niger Delta Development Commission, because of the fact that we are doing forensic audit, the NDDC plays a vital role in ensuring the peace and security of the region, and 90% or more of the resources of the country on a monthly basis comes from there. If you close it down in totality, all you have will be chaos, and you have a lot of not just militancy, but you have a lot of insurrection. So it is important that people who have gone to court, people who genuinely did jobs, should be paid for their jobs. So for me, I'm not against it, because of course, who are even the greatest beneficiaries? It's you people now. Okay. Because if you look at your chairman,
Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, that's okay. That's okay.
No, can I ask you that question? What is the benefit that the National Assembly is benefiting from?
It's okay.
Are you asking me the benefit of National Assembly?
Yes, you just said.
I just told you that we have record to show that most of the contracts in NDDC are given out to members of National Assembly, but you don't know about it.
It's okay.
The two chairmen can explain to you. That is why I was a member. I was a member of the NDDC committee.
It's okay.
Wait, you were a member of the NDDC and lot of you were a member of the NDDC in the 8th Assembly, and are you telling me that lots of jobs were awarded to you as a member?
No, this is a problem. That's why I said you
then
must.
You have the right to accuse people. They wanted to bring up
Can you please
people
listen to me? One of the chairmen
if
also.
you were not awarded a contract, then why are you coming here that you are aware that you were a member of the NDDC and lots of contracts were awarded to you? You said I'm not aware. I'm telling you that. Bring up those dates.
May I inform my honorable sister that is why we have to change.
Honorable Minister, please. It's okay. That is okay. That is okay.
But let me explain.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Let me explain.
It's okay.
Now.
It's okay.
You must not allow the two chairmen
to
access the budget every
It's
year.
okay. Off your mic. It's okay.
Off
your mic, Honorable Minister.
You are like me. I was a member like you. I did not know what was going on.
Honorable Minister.
Yes,
it's okay.
Yes, Chairman.
You guys sit down. Sit down. It's okay. Coco.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
So turn on the mic. Turn on my mic. Is it on? Don't off it. Don't off that mic. Is this mic on? Can you hear me? All right. It is on. Can't turn it off. You see? That was Akpabio leaking secrets then as minister. Now Akpabio is the Senate president. And Akpabio turned off the mic of the senator. This time they didn't even say turn off the mic. They just turned it off from control. You know, that was a House of Rep committee hearing. You know, was it turn off your mic, Mr. Minister? This time you turned off the mic of the senator. Oh, what a land. Yes, everything good will come. Have no fear. And when I say that, I know what I see. And when you don't believe me, you know what you see. You know what's in your mind. I also understand your plight. But if you allow the situation to frustrate you, it is your mind. It is your mind. Let's talk about the future. And when we talk about the future, I'm talking about the future of learning. Learning. Gender equity in STEM. Meneke said this is Women's Month. Women's Month. Mother's Day. Women's Day. Abigail and as a Mark, a quality education advocate, is on State Affairs. Abigail, good to have you on State Affairs.
It's good to be here again. Good morning, sir.
When you say the future of learning, what are we talking about?
So when we talk about the future of learning in my own context, and in the context of people who are more proactive, who are more pragmatic in today's world, future of learning is about how learning today can prepare young people for the challenges or the realities of tomorrow, which is something that we often don't pay attention to. And my quest for understanding how best to tailor learning today for addressing the needs of tomorrow has led me to engaging in the education space. So I work at Co-Creation Hub as a programs associate with the education practice as Relearn. I also do some things on the side as a gender equality advocate, still in education, STEM education for girls. And recently I delved into futures, trying to understand how best can we channel education, like I said, to prepare young people for the future. What are the challenges? What are the possible futures? What are the plausible futures? What are the probable futures that can exist? And how do we prepare for those different shocks that the future of work can bring?
And when you talk about gender equity, can you explain?
Okay, so gender equity, I can't talk about it without going to the Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 in number, and SDGs 5 focuses on gender equality. But for me, I like to look at it from the lens of equity, where I'm not saying for everything you give a man, you must give a woman. I'm saying if a woman deserves it, if she has worked for it, then give her the chance to achieve it, to attain it. So I was speaking last week, for example, on International Women's Day on 8th of March, and I was asked the question like this. I told them, I don't believe in creating quotas for women. Empower them as much as you empower boys. Give them chances as much as you give boys chances. Pay them as much as you pay men. So that's what equity means to me.
You just excited me. You know what I tell my girls? I say, you're not entitled to anything. Go and struggle for it.
Yeah.
Go and get it. Don't get anything on the basis I'm a woman, so give it to me. You know, when you give me the mic and I'm in charge of an event and you want this, okay, it's question time, I'm the last person to say, okay, 2 men, 2 women. For what now? If it's all men that are ready to ask questions, I give them the mic. And if it's all ladies, take the mic. Equity.
Equity.
You have to fight for it.
Absolutely. But I know some ladies who want to be attacking me wherever they are. I'm not saying that chivalry, where we say, oh, open the door for a woman, should be thrown away. Those are like societal, or do I say, our social way of looking at some things, like chivalry for a man to open the door for a woman on a date. That's not a discussion on gender equity or equality in this context.
Open the door. I open doors for men too. I open the door. If I'm by the door and Bosu is coming, I open Bosu, go in and I'll follow. You don't need to be a woman or to be a man. Open the door for a woman. Okay. If it makes you feel good.
It does make us feel good sometimes.
What about when we close the door?
We'll do our best to open it,
okay,
to show you that we deserve to be in that room.
We are looking at the future of learning. STEM. Why the focus on STEM?
Well, if we look at the future of work as it has evolved in the past few years, everything today has to do with technology. You are an engineer yourself, your background, and what you are doing today is something that will be considered as a career that somebody in the arts should pursue. And you are doing everything here today. People are hearing us across various places because of technology. So STEM defines every career trajectory as we see it today and as it's going to continue to be in the future. So it's important that STEM education is given so much priority. And STEM is science, technology, engineering, and maths. There are various different variations that people have given it. Now we have STEAM, we have STEAMer, just people trying to say, oh, we can do STEM and still infuse arts because technology has taken over everything that we want to do today. And STEM because, as it defines the future of work, I'm passionate about it because it's something that we don't really pay attention to in this part of the world. And if we want to prepare young people for the future of work, STEM is very important. It's foundational. It's just the future. I can't overemphasize that.
But you know, the girl child, many of them run away from STEM. When I was in electrical and electronics engineering, we were about 80 in my class. We had just 7 ladies.
I can't imagine. Yeah, that still obtains if you go to the University of Ibadan, which is something I'm beginning to be very critical about. What's the current state of gender equality in STEM faculties across Nigeria? Can we even start from universities in southwest Nigeria? Go to the University of Lagos. In the past 5 years, how many women did you have in agriculture? How many did you have in engineering? How many did you have in various fields of engineering, in medicine? And we can check that over the years and see, is there any progress? Is there a decline? Are these negative mythologies and norms that women cannot do science still obtaining in the modern spaces that we are, that's southwestern Nigeria, before we even say let's go into the northern part of Nigeria to see what's obtained? So that's something I've been considering recently. If I can start working on that to understand what the situation is today and get the chance to talk to some ladies in these schools to understand why are you in this field or why are you not in this field.
You studied biochemistry, right?
Yes, I did.
How many of you were in your class? I mean, ladies.
I think when we look at, so I'll just delve a little bit for answer. When we look at the general STEM field today, you see that women are already going there, but most of them tend to go into health sciences rather than engineering. And I don't really have so much strong data right now in my mind to back that, but it obtains even across the world. Women tend to go into biological sciences, which I did, rather than go into engineering. So in my class, we were 44 in my set. Well, I can't really say. We had an almost equal balance of men and women in my own sets.
But if you went to mechanical engineering, electrical, chemical engineering, you see few ladies.
Absolutely. In my sets too, in my hostel back then in University of Ibadan, there were ladies that affirmed that there were still very few women in their classes.
So what do we do to attract them into STEM?
So when we say attract women, one thing that we need to address first is their mindset towards STEM. We've been told, someone like me, I was forced into STEM. I already felt, since I was not good at maths, my dreams of becoming a scientist to not materialize. Those were things I was hearing. But as much as I struggled in STEM, I'm still grateful, based on reflection, that my parents forced me into that field. I can't imagine what my life would have been if I was not in STEM. Apologies to people who are not in the science field. That's not to say that you're not in a great space. But so when we look at the field of STEM.
Yeah, I'm looking at how do we bring in more ladies in?
Okay, so how do we bring in more ladies? I was talking about us addressing the societal belief that STEM is meant for men, or if you're not very good at mathematics, you're not good at physics and chemistry, you can't do STEM. STEM has even transcended that. So we need to address challenges. And that's why recently, in the work that I do, I've been trying to embrace intergenerational fairness through dialogues. So I know that it's something that obtains a lot, where you go to an event and you see senior people who have achieved a lot, and they are talking to us, and we hear. I will not say we learn, because when we go into conferences, we go there to hear. It is what we now do with what we've heard from there that shows what we've learned. So beyond just all those conferences, what we've now started to do is have co-creation sessions. Not just bring a woman to talk or a group of women to talk to young girls and help them to see, oh, I faced this challenge and this was how I overcame it. That's one-way conversation, the elders talking to us, showing us, but they don't understand our reality today. So I've been trying to see how, and that's something I'm still going to talk about if I have the chance to, talking about futures tools, futures and foresight tools. So intergenerational fairness is something that we consider in that field. And we are saying, as the senior generation, older generation is talking to us, we are getting them to listen to the younger generation, to listen to their challenges, to listen to what the reality is today, and to help them chart better courses.
So what are the realities? What are the challenges?
So the challenges today with STEM, first is mindset, social norms. People are saying that women cannot perform as much as men. Some things that also are foundational to mindset in STEM is when we are young, you see teddy bears, you see dolls that are made for girls in pink and bright colors because a few girls are more attracted to those colors. And you will not see a toy car in pink. You will not see a toy gun in pink. You will not see some engineering kind of games in pink. If pink is what attracts girls, who says they can't start playing with toy cars? Who says they can't dismantle those things and put them together? So things as subtle as even our toys as kids.
I bought guns for my girls.
Wow, that's just one out of very many parents that do that.
Yeah, I bought a toy gun for my girls. You know, then when I want to buy bags for them, I'll buy bags not with in fact, the recent bags I bought for them, they wanted, what's this toy, girlish, I don't know. I bought one with a car, a Lamborghini. He said, yeah, Papa. I said, yes, Lamborghini. That's it for. He says, for boys. I said, no, there's no color for boys.
No color for boys, yes.
No color for girls. You know? That is how I'm talking to them. That so they can challenge themselves. I don't like this men-dominated word. Is it a man's word?
It's not. It's everybody's world. So, adding to what you said, that what we're talking about on that mindset, is that mindset that has made it to be, if you look at, so there was something I was looking at recently. After Okonjo-Iweala became, after her tenure as Minister for Finance in Nigeria, we had 2 other women, and now we have a man. And if you look at women, when they are given the chance to even lead, it's like the expectations are really high on them.
They should not be given the chance. They should take the chance.
They should take the chance. So if a woman is in a position of leadership, she has to prove a point. She has to just fight and make sure people know that, oh, women can do this. And society does not place as much expectations as that on men. So if they'll say, oh, she says she can do it, right? And let her do it. And when she feels, they'll say, is that not the end? They say women can do it. Now we've allowed her and she's not doing. So those kind of, everything still stems from mindset. Mindset is what makes people close doors on women and feel that, oh, I don't want to employ her. We've seen situations where women are not well paid as much as men in some careers. So those are the challenges in today's reality.
It's about the future. And let me warn, my girls are starting their taekwondo class. If any man touches them, they will beat the hell out of the guy. You know? Now you can't touch my daughter and say, your husband. I punch the nonsense out of the man. Okay? So my girls are playing taekwondo anytime soon with their black belts. Is to prepare them for these bullies that call themselves men. Then beat this guy well. Okay? Good. Monica, how do you feel about that?
I feel happy. I want women to be as bold as anything, and I'm not saying bold as rude, because that's the way society will still interpret it. If a man can be bold and you won't say anything, let a woman be bold and keep quiet about it.
And don't be rude, right?
And don't be rude.
If you near my little girl now, she will fire you with her water gun. You know, it's just to give them that mindset. Also inculcate in them that spirit of integrity, humility.
Yes.
You know, you stoop to conquer. I believe in the power of the girl child. I believe by the time we combine the beauty of the girl child and the male child, we will build a balanced world.
Yeah,
we need to build boys and girls capable of instigating engineering and technological changes in Africa. And we can. Yes, Abigail and Azamak, thank you for featuring on State Affairs.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure sharing my thoughts.
Yes, she's a star. She's a star. That's why she's my friend. Someday you will see her with me somewhere, and we will redefine the system. All right, I'll be back after this break. The program is State Affairs.
Construction of ideal media in the interest of the progressives.
Thank you very much. Let me say this of Bola Ige. Bola Ige was a student of Obafemi Awolowo. Obafemi Awolowo was a role model of Bola Ige to the point that they both belong to the religion of the ancient days called Rosicrucian Order.
So he was a member of the Rosicrucian Order.
Both men were members of the Rosicrucian Order. Obafemi Awolowo left it in his will that the Rosicrucian Order must attend his burial, and they gave him a role. So Bola Ige was a student of Obafemi Awolowo. What Awolowo did in politics, little wonder he read law. Whatever Awolowo did in social development, Bola Ige followed the path. So, like Awolowo founded Africa's first television station, WNTV, WNBS, Bola Ige founded TSOS.
You just raised the point. I will come back to TSOS. But you just raised the point, the Rosicrucian Order.
Yes.
You know, some have denied that he was not a member.
Who? Who was not?
That Bola Ige was not a member.
He was. My name is Lekon Alabi. He was. Obafemi Awolowo was.
Now, you are confirming this. I want to read from in Bode Showande's 2003 tribute entitled The Rose and the Cross. He describes Bola Ige. I'm confirming what you're saying. That soon, our conversation drifted to spiritual issues and finally zeroed in on the Rosicrucian Order. We were both freighters of the Rosicrucians, and I knew that a few weeks back he had made a very handsome financial donation to the order in Ibadan. Of particular interest to him was the Christian Kabbalah, a practice I lived by, and I invited him to visit the Atrium group that I was currently leading in Ibadan. Little did I know that this would be our final conversation together. So you are confirming, like Bode Showande confirmed here, that he was a member of the Rosicrucian Order.
With all modesty at my command, with all modesty, those who were really close to Chief Bola Ige will tell you that àwọn ọmọ nǹkan tí Lékan Àlàbí gbéjẹ fún Uncle Bola o, because it transcended being a press secretary, being a mentee. Uncle Bola tried all his best to draft me into politics. I'm not being modest. For those who know, so I will cite Dr. Yomi Farounbi in this instance.
Okay.
People were wondering, Lékan, ṣé Ìjẹ̀ṣà ni màmá ẹ ni? Kí ló dé? Kan tó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ, àbí nǹkan tó máa progress. Uncle Bola will say, Lékan Àlàbí must be invited. Lékan Àlàbí must be because till we are doing this interview today, I don't know. Bí Yorùbá ṣe máa ń wí, I don't know nǹkan tí mo gbé jẹ fún Uncle Bola o. He loved me. He was ready to show me the way to greatness, particularly in politics. So, anything that I say about Chief Bola Ige, please, the whole world that you are listening to me now, please take it as the truth.
Awolowo was a member of the Rosicrucian Order.
Awolowo was a member of the Rosicrucian Order, yes.
And Bola Ige was a member.
But Chief Bola Ige was.
And you said Bola Ige was a student of Awolowo.
Bola Ige was a student of Obafemi Awolowo.
What is the uniqueness? How would you place both men?
Thank you. So I will now use a word of Professor Wole Soyinka, a bosom friend of Chief Bola Ige, at the what do they call it now? The public service we did for Chief Bola Ige at Liberty Stadium, January 1984. I was the chairman of the subcommittee, protocol and publicity subcommittee of the larger body that took care of the funeral of Chief Bola Ige. So Professor Wole Soyinka spoke in his tribute. He spoke at Liberty Stadium, now called Obafemi Awolowo Stadium. And Professor Soyinka broke the ice that day when he started by saying, the killers of Bola Ige are here with us.
That was in January 2002.
Yeah, thank you. 2002. Yes. The stadium fell silent.
The killers were there.
He said, the killers of Bola Ige are here with us.
And you believed him?
A professor. Not only a professor, Africa's first Nobel laureate. He will never lie.
We will come to that.
So I want to use the word he now used. He said Bola Ige was ekunemica.
Meaning?
Meaning what it means.
Now.
Spiritual.
Yes.
Like him.
He was a deep thinker, right?
Like him.
Like him.
Like Soyinka, his friend. Like Obafemi Awolowo, their leader, our father.
So are you saying Soyinka is a member of the Rosicrucian Order too?
No. I said ecumenica was a word.
Spiritual.
that Soyinka used for his friend.
But to be a member of the Rosicrucian Order is not negative, right?
I wouldn't know. Because by the time Rosicrucian Order was reigning all over the world and Nigeria, everything I knew about Rosicrucian Order was in the form magazines, their advertisement. It was regular.
It's not secret.
No. I don't think it's a secret body because they advertised in popular weeklies and magazines in all over the world.
It's not just confirming what you're saying. That soon, our conversation drifted to spiritual issues and finally zeroed in on the Rosicrucian Order. We were both freighters of the Rosicrucians, and I knew that a few weeks back he had made a very handsome financial donation to the order in Ibadan. Of particular interest to him was the Christian Kabbalah, a practice I lived by, and I invited him to visit the Atrium group that I was currently leading in Ibadan. Little did I know that this would be our final conversation together. So you are confirming, like Bode Sowande confirmed here, that he was a member of the Rosicrucian Order.
With all modesty at my command, with all modesty, those who were really close to Chief Bola Ige will tell you that, àwọn ọmọ nǹkan tí Lékan Àlàbí gbéjẹ fún Uncle Bola o. Because it transcended being a press secretary, being a mentee. Uncle Bola tried all his best to draft me into politics. I'm not being modest. For those who know, so I will cite Dr. Yomi Farounbi in this instance.
Okay.
People were wondering, Lékan, ṣé Ìjẹ̀ṣà ni màmá ẹ ni? Kí ló dé? Kan tó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ, àbí nǹkan tó máa progress. Uncle Bola will say, Lékan